Hello friends, it's staying below 25 degrees. So today I'm going to share with you my essential tips for planting, harvesting, preserving, and more. These seeds I planted them last fall. And then in the early summer of this year. So before I planted them, I sprayed them with some fungicide. And then I gave them a big sun. If you're all planets, you can also skip this step. You can see that the seeds are starting to germinate. And if you're smart, I'd recommend a general purpose one. I've also added some plasma stones and Merax 5-in-1. And some slow release insecticide granules. Mix them well and you're ready to go. I recommend these two types of pots. They're good for vinegar. Small pots, one is 13 cm. One is 15 centimeters, and there's the Tyroma International pot. It's also 13 centimeters in caliber. So let's plant them together. I fill each pot with soil. I don't want to overfill them too much. Then I level the surface of the soil. And we can put the seeds of the grass flat on the surface of the soil. For a size like this, 13 centimeters in diameter, I planted about 5 to 6 seeds. And for the 15 centimeter size, I plant about 8 seeds. Last year I did the same density. The result was good. After we've placed them all, we'll put a layer of soil on it. And then we flatten it out a little bit. Then we cover each pot like this. After all the work is done, we'll give them a good watering. Don't water too fast or too much. A little bit of control otherwise the seeds will be easily washed away. And then, after we watered them thoroughly, I also watered them once to maintain a good soil environment, to encourage them to grow and germinate. And that's how we finish planting the vinegar plants. In terms of maintenance, they're not afraid of the sun. So we give them as much full sun as possible. Last winter on my outdoor balcony, it was able to survive the winter safely. Just be careful when there's a sub-zero frost. You can protect it with a little film, or move it indoors. Fertilizer. Give them flower fertilizer or potassium phosphate. But the most important thing is to give them sunlight. In the springtime they're more susceptible to aphids. So the slow-release chemicals we put in the soil will help to protect them. In early spring, we can add some more to the soil. Their flowers will last until early summer. When the weather warms up, their leaves will gradually wither. But they'll be dormant by then. We can dig the seed pods out of their pots and collect them and plant them again next fall. How to store them? I suggest you put them in a small bag like this one. And check every once in a while whether there is any mold, because I've used centrifuge tubes like this before. But I think it's because the seeds weren't completely dry, and they were kept in an airtight space. So some of the seeds caught moldy. It's a shame, so next year when I receive the seed balls, I'll still use these breathable bags to store them. Well friends, that's all we have to share today. I'm looking forward to seeing these grow up quickly.